That's so fabulous that you went. And the partnership or brother sibling connection that you made with Team Kenya. We
It
love
was a,
it.
it was a great visit.
We want to hear more about it. I think we should create studios to talk about our members making families with the coalition members.
Be happy to participate.
Welcome, everybody. We have a very exciting and important studio prepared for you today. We're going to just give, as usual, another minute or two to allow folks to roll in and test your sound, well, as in like hearing. Um, thank you for being here. Richard, you're also back from the other side of the globe. That only took you 2 days to get home.
I'm back in action. Nice to see everyone.
It's a nice monthly reunion we have here, and I think that I see some new names. Um, we should always be asking you to remind you to bring your friends and your colleagues, and prospective members and new members. I think there actually might be new members here as well. Welcome, welcome. Just a few more seconds, and we're going to get started. Thank you for being here. Hey, we're starting to record. Okay, I'm going to start sharing my screen as we get started. I have to enable my sound. Remember that, Robin? Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Can somebody speak up because I can't see you?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna get started. Hello, everybody. This is Robin Moon from the headquarters of World Farmers Markets Coalition, your host of the World Farmers Markets Coalition Monthly Studio. Welcome to our July studio. It's the last one before the end of the summer. And today's topic is making farmers markets financially sustainable. Literally a $5 million question that we all ask ourselves every day. And we know that we have a variety and depth and breadth of different models of their financial sustainability among our members. So today we have three country members here to present to you. Shihan Lee from South Korea. They're the bios coming in just a bit. And Karolina Yarmowska. I learned how to say that. And Alicia Kowalik from Poland, and Victor Eduardo Flores Gutierrez from Mexico, presenting and sharing their financial sustainability stories with you today. And we will open the table to have a conversation among the presenters and the audience. As always, I will go through our community agreements really quickly. Always remember to be present here. We're spending 90 minutes of your very precious time together to create, strengthen our community of practice. So please be present and stay engaged. And we welcome and honor multiple viewpoints from all of you, covering 24 time zones, and I think reaching 70 countries now. And we will have disagreements because why wouldn't we? We have so many different backgrounds and contexts, but we will hold our disagreements and judgments softly, and we will talk about it. We will bring curiosity and gratitude for the diversity that our coalition offers all of us. We will trust everybody's best intent, but also acknowledge how it lands on people, the impact on us. We will make space for other people to speak and also take space when it's your time to speak. And just considering the amount of time that we have, a number of people we have here, I ask you to think briefly in sentences and not paragraphs. Shihan Lee, South Korea, she will also be joining us at the GA in October in Rome. She's been a market manager at Marché at Farmers Market in South Korea for some time. She's been responsible for mapping the market spaces, setting up the spaces, and daily interaction and communication with farmers. She's presented the market mapping to showcase the best practices of South Korea marché at over a year ago. Karolina Jarmołowska from Poland. She divides her time in Poland and Italy. She has many passions, including farmers markets, of course, and also conference interpreter, a person of many talents. She's been active in the NGO sector since 2009 and was one of the founding members of the market that we're going to visit virtually today since 2013. And outside of her professional life, she enjoys throwing and painting pottery. Oh, I am trying this, Carolina. It's really hard. I'm very, very envious. Alicja Kowalik, also from Poland. She is the president of the Targ Piotrowski. No, Pietrov. Okay, I'm gonna try this again later. Foundation in Piotrkowie. Thank you. In Krakow, Poland. Since 2013, she's been deeply involved in building these farmers markets from ground up. So she's quite the entrepreneur. And she works closely to date with local producers, residents, and community partners. Also been active in nonprofit sector since 2009. Many various grassroots initiatives within the local food systems and sustainability area. She's the head of one of Poland's most recognized community markets. She brings a strategic leadership, and some of it we will hear today in terms of her financial sustainability leadership. Last but definitely not least, Victor Flores, our member from Mexico, permaculture enthusiast and food sovereignty advocate for the over 14 years of experience developing and operating farmers markets. And we've heard from Victor before about his expertise in social media production, communication, and his market. And so, as you know, a lot of you know, he's the founder and the general coordinator of Guadalajara Feria de Productores, one of the most important farmers markets in metropolitan areas in Mexico. He has a lot of knowledge in terms of participatory certification committees, building markets, again, like I said, communication, and list goes on. He also is experienced in collaborating in different environmental issues work groups, in educational tools design, and in working with social media. Welcome, all four of you. We're very honored to have you talk to us today. And without much ado, let's start with South Korea. Shihan, are you ready?
I'm ready. Hello, everyone. My name is Shihan, and I'm the market manager at Marché Farmers Market in Seoul, South Korea. It's been exactly 2 years since I became a part of the Marché team. Now I'm in charge of market operations and work alongside a team of 7 managers. Even today, we've been busy preparing for our next market coming up on Monday, and also for our biggest event market happening next month. I'm truly excited to introduce you to Marché, a farmers market built on conversation and community. Preparing for this talk gave me a chance to look back on Marché's 13-year journey, and I'm proud to share it with you. As you can see, the history of Marché is divided into 3 main phases, excluding the preparation period. Marché was created through consistent conversation among its founders. They gathered urban farmers, chefs, and makers to explore what kind of market should exist in the city. The first market was held in October 2012. During the first and second phase, we ran many experiments to find out the identification of a farmers market. And we grew up, held many markets. The third phase is from 2017 to the present. We wanted this beautiful market to be sustainable, but the problem was money. So we established an NGO called Farmers Market Marché to receive grants and organize events. And now, for 13 years, we have been creating markets all across the city of Seoul. Next slide. A farmer's market of conversation is our official catchphrase. Marché is the name of our market. Currently, we rotate across 5 different locations in Seoul, holding a market at each location once a month. In other words, we organize one market every week. Some are public spaces like public park, while others are private properties such as office buildings. Next. Look at these markets in the city. They come in all different sizes, but aren't they beautiful? Next, who makes farmers market possible? If we think about the market's essential function, exchange, we can think of vendors and customers. Next. But if we think about how farmers market creates value beyond just transactions, we can consider 2 main pillars. One is the hardware, those who physically build and organize the market. The other is the software or governance that keeps the market running and alive. Let me explain more as we look at these photos. Next. At the market, we have vendors. They include farmers, cooks, and craftspeople. Out of the 160 members, about 100 are farmers. Most of them are small-scale farmers or small business owners, and nearly all of them are local producers based right here in Korea. Next. We deeply value our farmers, and we believe that small-scale farmers play a vital role in healing the land. That's why we created a group called Earth Farmers. You may know Patagonia, the brand well known for its environmental commitment. Through its 1% for the planet program, they donate 1% of their revenue to environmental causes. Marché connected our Earth Farmers with Patagonia through that program. Next. Instead of calling them consumers, we refer to them as food citizens. They care deeply about local food, sustainability, biodiversity, and ethical consumption. Do you see the bag the child is holding? At our market, we practice resource circulation, and that bag is actually a reused paper bag. Just like many others, we collect and redistribute. Our food citizens do more than just shop. They also actively participate in the market. They help with recycling, join educational programs and workshops, and seek to deepen their understanding of food and farming. Together, we build a culture or respect and responsibility within the market. Next. We can't forget about the people who help design the market space. Our collaborators and partners like artists, photographers, and educators who bring joy to the citizens. It takes an incredible amount of labor, care, and dedication to make all of this happen. Next. Our volunteers also play a crucial role. In the photo first from left, you can see them carrying equipment, setting up, and taking everything down. Without their support, it would be impossible to open and close the farmers market. Next. And most importantly, there are the market managers. We call ourselves the market friends. and all of us work full time to make the market happen. Next. A farmers market of conversation supports farmers' economic sustainability and creates meaningful connections between the city and the countryside. At the heart of how it all works is an important pillar, democratic governance. As an NGO and MPO, Marsha has a board of directors, and they act as representative of the citizens. Next. We also have a vendors committee, a self-organized body of vendors. It was first launched in July 2014, and now we are in the sixth term of the committee. They bring up issues and arise within the vendor community and work together to find solutions. Since we also have citizens and various other stakeholders involved, the committee plays an important role in the balancing these diverse perspectives. Next. So shall we take a look at the key to Marsha's 13 years of sustainability, our financial model? Here's how we generate the funds to keep things running. The biggest source of income is the vendor fee. Next. The biggest part of our income comes from vendor fees. This isn't just a fee, it's something that was collectively agreed upon by our vendor committee with the shared goal of keeping the markets going. That's why we call it our sustainability fund. Each vendor contributes a percentage of their daily sales to this fund. It's based on mutual trust. Vendors report their own sales voluntarily and honestly. We are really proud of that honesty and shared responsibility. The percentage it has been raised once. Until 2020, we relied heavily on external funding, but gradually a shared voice grew within the community that it was time to move toward financial independence. Through many conversations at vendor meetings and within the vendor committee, we came to a collective agreement to raise the contribution rate. Next. We also receive income through sponsorships. Sometimes large companies or brands participate in the market by paying for visibility or by co-hosting events under their name. Marsha has worked with top-tier car companies, department stores, and financial institutions, and we continue to receive partnership offers every year. Another important source of income is government support. As rural populations decline, local governments are actively seeking ways to recommend cities with farming communities. They see value in what we do, and their support helps us continue our work. We also receive ESG grants from companies that want to invest in environmental and social initiatives, like Patagonia's 1% for the planet. In addition, we receive donations from citizens and sometimes support from charity-based media programs. Lastly, we run our own educational programs for citizens. These programs are not only meaningful, but also help support us financially. Next. So why is our financial model strong? It's because our governance is healthy. Let me explain how it works. We have a vendor committee which holds regular meetings twice a year. We also listen carefully to citizens' voices. Through ongoing conversations between vendors, the vendor commit, and Marche friends, we are able to uncover hidden challenges and even overcome issues that once seemed impossible to solve. And our conversations are not just emotional, they are data-driven. We ground our discussions in data from the market, from our vendors, and from the people who visit. That's what makes our decisions both logical and perceived. Next.
Should we play this video?
Yes, please.
Okay.
This video you see here is from our most recent regular meeting. It's
Wow.
just a Saturday.
Wow.
Isn't it great? We're really proud of it. Next.
Oops. Sorry.
And for us, conversation doesn't just happen twice a year. It happens every market day. Before the market opens, we take 30 minutes from 10:30 to 11 together and talk. After the market ends, we always take time to wrap up and share how things went. And our Marche friends also hold a feedback meeting at the office to review the market as a whole. We even go over each vendor's sales together and talk about what worked and what didn't. Next. We all, Marche friends, we all work full-time as market manager of the Marche, and we're constantly thinking about how to keep it going in a sustainable way. The most important thing for us is a conversation and talking and listening to each other. But right after that, we'd say the next most important thing is data. Now in Korea, many
Oops, sorry.
farmers now in
Sorry.
Korea, many farmers still have a pretty limited access to data or digital tools. So at first, using Google-based tools to collect data wasn't easy at all. But over time and with some effort, pretty much everyone adapted, except for a few of our oldest vendors who we will still support in other ways. We now collect not just
Sorry.
not just the vendor information, but also collect survey from the people who visit the market. We are turning all kinds of experiences and elements of the market into data we can actually use. Twice a year, we share what we've learned with everyone at our regular meetings. And now we are working on putting it all together into an impact report, something that can help us show the value of the market more clearly and hopefully get more citizens involved. We focus our research on three main things: the environmental condition of market, the vendors, and the people who visit. Next. We keep regular records about each market. Things like the weather, temperature, air quality, and how many people showed up. Since most of our markets are held outdoors, these details are actually really important. Next. We also collect year-round data on each vendor. This helps us see things like which teams get the best response at which locations, or how the season affects their sales and engagement. Next. For the people who visit the market, we run regular surveys. We ask things like, why do you come to Marche? How did you hear about us? Where do you live? How often do you come? Through this, we can better understand the value of the market and the kinds of people who want to be part of it. It also helps us create vendor teams differently depending on the space or audience. Next. On top of that, we also track numbers like how many volunteers joined us, how many items were reused or recycled, how many people took part in educational programs, and attendance at our community gatherings. Basically, we try to record everything that reflects the social impact on Marche, and we make sure we are collecting the same kinds of data each year so we can actually compare over time and see what's changing. Next. Now, it's final page. First, climate crisis. As you know, it affects all around the world. And it affects all around the market sites and the quality of harvest. And this have a direct impact on customer satisfaction. Second, financial sustainability is ongoing challenges. Third and fourth, they are related. The lack of legal frameworks and the absence of common awareness. Farmers markets are for the common good. We link urban and rural. We save the food security. We save the biodiversity. So we are trying to educate them and show them the social values of farmers market. Thank you.
Xian, thank you so much. Manuel is dropping Marche contact information and the social media in case you're not yet following them, because the photos here are stunning. Thank you for that. And what you said about how your market is sustainable because your governance works, and the focus on the community organizing, focusing on the commons, and building trust. We always go back to trust as the answer to everything. And this is just the unbelievable market that you have. And thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you so much. Okay, shall we now travel to Poland? We got Alicia and Carolina to co-present for you. I'm going to go to the next slide. Take it away.
Alicia will start with the history of the market, and then I'll take on from there.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Alicja from Poland, Kraków, and about history. Our market started in 2030, and it was started in our district, Podgórze, because people from Podgórze want to have market close to their houses, and that's why the market starts. People from the local association come together and start at the market start. First season we have, with support from the Swiss contribution, a program supporting civil society. We held the first edition of market on June 29, 2030, in the main square of Podgórze, the Kraków district. It was a seasonal pilot project, but the community response was that strong that market quickly grew into something more permanent. And next year, because of renovation on the market square, we moved to Plac Niepodległości, Independence Square, where we are continue to operate every Saturday. And since 2016, the market has also taken place every Wednesday. And in 2016, because the original association was involved in many other local activities, we established the Targ Pietruszkowy Foundation, to run market and focus more on education about food and, for example, zero waste. And in 2024, we opened a second market location in another district of Kraków, Grzegórzki, where we also operate every Saturday. Over the years, we grow from a grassroots movement into a stable year-round farmer market. All our vendors are real farmers and producers, and their farms are located no more than 50 kilometers from Krakow. We offer food that is local, natural, and sells directly by the people who grow or make it. And now I ask Carolina to say something more about our market.
Thank you, Alicia. Yes, these are the slide. The next slide is where you can see the square where we actually operate at the moment. And I'm happy to see some of the participants here who actually visited our market. I can see Viola commenting. She was just there in May, end of May, beginning of June, where we met together with the people from different markets from Denmark, Italy, Croatia, and also the Netherlands as part of the Cicero project. And we met thanks to the World Farmers Market Coalition. So that's a great achievement. Anyway, moving on, if we can have the next slide, please. Just like Alicia said, we have moved to 2 markets, and the next slide as well. And when it comes to the governance, we both in our bio notes with Alicia had it written that we started our NGO activity in 2009. And this is where we met at this association called Podgórze, association that dealt with the development of Podgórze district of Kraków. Nowadays, this district of Kraków is mainly known as the location of the Jewish ghetto. So all the Jewish people from the Jewish districts are moved to Podgórze, and people come to visit Schindler's factory and all the war kind of grim history from the wartime. But we wanted to show something else because Podgórze in the past was a huge city, and actually it was connected to Kraków just over 100 years ago. It wasn't so clear whether, Kraków will be connected to Podgórze or Podgórze will be connected to Kraków. So it had a lot of history. And we were basically developing this district, and what was missing in our district was a farmer's market. But I am explaining this because this impacts our governance. Because we have in 2016 separated from the Association of Podgórze. And the reason was just like Alicia explained. We had weekly meetings of the Podgórze Association that was organizing different cultural or history-related events. And then suddenly market, which was a weekly operation at the beginning, dominated all the meetings. So some people were not happy about it because not everyone was interested in food and, choosing the appropriate bread maker or the baker for our market. So basically the market dominated the meetings of the association. So we separated also from the perspective of financial sustainability. It was better because then the foundation has a strict environmental sustainability agricultural profile. So for this reason, we separated. When it comes to the management, we have the management board. At the moment, we have a president, which is Alicia, and vice president, which is Kamil. But we can have up to 5 people in the board. In fact, I used to be the member of the board before. And the management board is basically directly involved in running the market. So they're market managers, we can say. On top of that, we have the council of the foundation. And these are people who control the board. So they give a vote of confidence. They go through financial statements to see if they like it, besides the other types of national controls that we have and the rules. We have also this group of 5 members of the council. And then the Association of Podgórze is our founder. This was the founding body of the foundation, and they appoint the board members. On top of that, we also have a farmers' council. So these are farmers. It's a consultative body that meets on an ad hoc basis, and they can provide us with some new ideas, etc. They do not have, let's say, power to decide, but they give us their opinion. At the moment, these are 11 farmers, but they're planning to reduce the number because of logistics. It's hard to meet sometimes, etc. If I can have the next slide, please. And then the main slogan that we've always had, the main three characteristics of our market are local, natural, and direct. That's been ongoing since 2013 when the market was started. Local, which means all the vendors come within 150 kilometers from Krakow. You may ask why 150, not why 170. I mean, we had to set a boundary somewhere. If somebody is 155, we probably would also accept them if they meet the other two criteria. But we thought that this is a reasonable distance for people to come every week or even twice a week and then sell directly, and that's any more than that would be a little bit more difficult. And the next characteristic is natural. So we prioritize organic farms, and farmers who are not organic have to sign a code of conduct where they say that they comply with the agroecological rules. And we only accept direct vendors. So only producers or family members of the producers can sell at our market. Next slide, please. And as I mentioned, we are in the Podgórze district, which used to be a separate town, meaning that it has its own market square, and we are in the heart of that district. We have customers coming from all over Krakow, but our surveys show that majority of the people are actually local residents of Podgórze district. Customers are various. They're old age pensioners who come to get because they say that it reminds them of the taste of the past, the products that we sell. There are young families with little kids, influencers, some actors, famous people, but also regular people like myself and like you, so who just want to do their weekly shop. And moving on to the financial model, if I can have the next slide. We brainstormed with Alicia more or less to kind of think about what actually made a big difference in sustaining our market, which is not easy because the monthly costs are quite huge. We have a covered area and the outside area, and the covered area we need to pay every month, regardless of how many farmers come, etc. So we found what gave us a big advantage is to get the social enterprise status. There was a procedure to acquire the status of a social enterprise. So social enterprise would be a business that is a business, so it's self-sustaining, but also is operating to meet some social need or to have social impact, etc. And farmers markets are a very good example of that. And since gaining the status of a social enterprise, we saw many new financial opportunities. One example is, for example, the IKEA program for social entrepreneurs that we entered into. It was a 3-year business accelerator program that gave us some funding, not much, some loans, 0% interest loans, but also a lot of mentoring. So we got a lot of meetings, a lot of specialized support, we could say. We had our own, we still have, because actually the project has been extended. So it's now, I think, the 4th or 5th year that we are, let's say, covered by this stewardship of IKEA. And we had our dedicated person with whom we are meeting every 2 weeks to kind of see how we are doing. And they were really, for us, the most valuable times to talk about the problems. It felt like, I know, therapy for NGO activists. And I'm sure you're well aware, or maybe you've experienced yourself, that many NGO activists suffer from burnout because we put all our hearts into what we do, and sometimes with all the struggles and challenges, it's quite overwhelming. So these kind of supports were as valuable as the financial supports, because many times we just wanted to give up and say, okay, no, I can't do it anymore. But also, for example, the social enterprise status gives extra points when we apply for other national funding or EU funding. For example, thanks to that, we managed to attract funding for office equipment from the National Recovery and Resilience Facility that is coming from the EU and then distributed at national Polish level. Thanks to being a social enterprise, we also are able to cover some of the costs of employing staff, which also helps enormously. But just like was mentioned by Shion, the major part of our income and costs are covered by vendor fees. So we are trying to set vendor fees at such a level that it covers the basic minimum costs, and then from that, if we get a project, we can buy office equipment from other sources of funding. We try to buy the extra stuff, but the rent and the basic stuff is covered by vendor fees. And the fees depend on the type of product. So we have this rule that the more processed the product, the higher the fee, because usually those products are more expensive. So let's say the farmer who sells just the vegetables and has the smallest stall pays 25 euro. Roughly speaking, and the highest fee, and that is per market, per week. So every Saturday, that will be 25 euro, and the highest fee that we have would be about 150 euro per market for a large stall with a fridge, access to electricity for, let's say, cheese or meat salespeople. Just to give you an idea, we do not have, it's always a flat rate. We do not have a fee based on sales. There were some ideas, but our farmers were opposed and didn't like the idea of having to report how much they sold, and we scrapped that. If I can have the next slide and the information, how much time I have left, so I can try and figure out what to focus
You
on.
can keep going.
Excellent. Okay. Practices worth sharing. Besides what I have just said, I think what we tried to do with Alicja is to show that our Targ Pietruszkowy is not just a market, because market is something that people associate with sales. So, why do you need funding? Why do you need project? It's, people sell, people earn money there. It's not very, let's say, sexy for fundraising. But I would say Alicja always wanted to make sure that there are some educational workshops, some events. I was more kind of tired saying, oh, why again? We have to organize some workshop. It's more work. But she persevered. And I think that actually it paid off, because we are seen in the city, not just as a market, but as a place where sustainability practices can be promoted. So people started, after all those years, approaching us. And this is also how the second market started, because we were approached by a construction company who had some land that they wanted to utilize in the middle of residential area. And in fact, the second location of the market is a space for which we just pay a nominal fee every month for renting the space. It's really just the bare minimum. And that's how it happened. And for the company, they comply with their ESG activities, ESG goals, sustainability goals, and we have a new location of the market. So I think it's worth to do other things, even though it may not bring about results immediately, but organizing visits for customers to see the farmers, for example, that really brings about a lot of trust, confidence, and also means that people spread the message that the market is worth going. If I can have the next slide, please. And another practice worth sharing would be the consistency. So let's say sticking to the rules, like we have the three rules: local, natural, direct, and we keep being approached by people who, I don't know, sell imported products or sell products that they didn't make themselves. And we keep saying no, even though it could boost the profit, because we just don't want to lose the confidence, the trust of the people who come there and they see that the seasonal products are there, that you won't find tomatoes in May because it's not the season in Poland yet. And it's important to, I think, if we want to have a market that runs for years and not just for months, we have to be consistent. Another practice worth sharing would be the ideas for sharing costs, the fixed costs that we have. So what we try to do, we try to rent our tents. We have now many tents. I don't know, Alicia knows exactly how many tents we have for vendors, but we rent them out for different events to other people, including the guys who can set it up, etc. I can see. Okay, I'll answer the questions later because it's confusing me when I look at the bubbles. But I'm
we'll
nearly
have a
finished.
conversation. Yep.
I'm nearly finished now. And also I mentioned that in the first location, the main location in Podgórze, we have the covered part of the market. And the covered part is actually quite extensive. We have an underground part, which is in poor condition, but it's like 170 square meters. We have the part that's also on the ground floor. And altogether, the costs are extensive, and the market is open only twice a week. So what happens is that we sublet the covered part of the market to a nearby. There's a bar basically attached to our market. So we constructed like a sliding door that opens when the market is not in operation. All our fridges have wheels. We move them to one of the rooms that is covered, and then during the non-market days, the space, which is also quite big, and as I said, in the middle of this Podgórze district, that's quite hip at the moment. The bar is there, and they pay more or less half of the rental costs that we have for the covered part, which is also a great help. Word of mouth, I think we put that just to say that even though social media, etc., is for many the main communication platform, we still see that a lot of people just come because they got recommended a product or went to a party where somebody put out a platter of cheese and they said, "Oh, wow, that's delicious. Where did you get that?" "Oh, I get it at the Targ Pietruszkowy farmers market." And they just go and word of mouth still is, I wouldn't underestimate that. And the challenges, the final slide that we have is there are a few that we mentioned, could be more, but our vendors, as you probably know, are a very diverse group. So we have people who are excellent on social media, who are great in communicating the presentation of their stall, and we have people who don't have email addresses and we can't reach them, or they don't read their email because they just open it once a week. And it's sometimes hard to manage, hard to communicate. We know that speaking to someone directly is better than sending an email, but then if you have 70 vendors, how do you speak to everyone? And so that would be one of the challenges. All the side events and projects, educational workshops, they're great, but they take up a lot of the time. And sometimes we think, no, we just have to focus. There's paperwork to do. There is this and that. And generally, time is always an issue. And I was very envious of Shion, who said that they all work full time. And I think, if I understood correctly, you have 7 market managers. I'm very, very envious. Yes, the guys are there. Hello. Because we have only one member of the board. Camille is a full-time employee. Alicia has another job now. I'm no longer. I was never full-time at the market, but I also have a different job. So it's always difficult to manage the agenda, to find the same day to meet, etc. And we always we never have enough time basically, and we can't really afford to work only for the market because okay, it's sustainable, but it's not bringing a lot of money. So it's always a balance that's very hard to keep. And when it comes to opportunities, so the ways how we want to solve this, we've been working for a long time on improving our e-commerce service, because we have an online shop where we deliver the produce from the market to people. It only works on Saturday, so people come with the products. The producers come with the same product they sell at the market. We pack it up and we deliver, and the orders are made that week by the customers online. And this proved to be a really a big thing that saved us during COVID times, because we actually sold a lot of those parcels, and we made money to survive COVID. Now it's less popular, but we are working on the platform, including with the IKEA employees who help us kind of develop, and hopefully this will be something that will keep us going in the future. Thank you very much. That was it from us.
Thank you so much, Team Poland. Manuel's dropping their social media handles. We will share the slides with you as always, but just so you have immediate access. I would ask the Team Poland and Korea to, if there's any questions in the chat, I think there are a couple. If you can address in the chat, I would love for you to do that. I'm just watching the time and I don't want to shortchange your presentation time. I'm already hearing some like key ingredients, if you will, for what you both shared. So vendor fee is the main source of income. Stable vendor fee structure and fiscal infrastructure. So social enterprise or nonprofit status, that allows for some kind of subsidies or tax break. So that's also on the foundational level sounds very important. Also diversifying your fundraising. So not just farmers market. We all say that among us. So biodiversity, selling on biodiversity, environment, economic development, Main Street development, and how you take part in those activities and how you could raise funds through those venues. And then strong governance, active and strong governance. And I wrote conversation, meaning community building through trust. And I think the common challenge so far, I think it's every market, every actually organization is burnout. So in other words, human sustainability, something we need to think about. We're going to go now to Mexico, Guadalajara. Victor.
Hi, everybody. Well, this is Victor. And this is the case for marketing Guadalajara. So can we go to the next slide? And I wanted to start with like different models we have of markets here in Mexico and how they can to make some differences, because here we have some markets that are like private, organized, let's say privately. So a group of people or a company or a person, just like that. So usually these kind of markets are looking for, they have this investment looking for profit. They're more efficient with decision making, so no big assemblies to get like how to get things done, and mostly benefits well-established farmers. Usually, you can do some things to change that. And these are things that I asked according to the different patterns of markets that we have here in Mexico. I asked Grok or ChatGPT about like the pros and cons of different models, and this is what it showed. So there we have like some markets that are organized by NGOs and usually depend on external funding through foundation or agencies. They're focused on sustainability, although they can ignore the economical profit of farmers. And then we have some markets that are organized by institutions, government. Usually they're government subsidized, they're bureaucratic decision making. It can enable better practices and more technological advances, often lacks continuity according to political changes. So Chat GPT does know things. So can we go back?
I'm sorry.
No problem. Because these are things that are really happening in different markets here in Mexico, usually institutional. I've seen so many markets that are like part of this political party that comes into power and then they go out and then the market's over. We've seen NGOs doing the work, but usually they depend on their funding and then they are running basically on free labor by people who are just like too enthusiastic, but they're not getting any money. So usually I used to participate in a market with this model from an NGO, and well, I had my money from the NGO doing other stuff, and the market stuff was like kind of for free. So I wasn't even able to buy stuff at the market. So it was kind of not the model that I wanted to do again. And then we have another model of market that is run by a producer group. So usually they're self-funded with low fees and high participation expectancy. Decision making through assemblies, and it can relegate certain management duties to producers who are not in the best position to accomplish activities. So I've seen markets like this that are run by farmers, and usually they like take 2 hours to decide how to promote the market, and at the end of the assembly they say, well, you know what, we're gonna design a flyer, and then these farmers gonna be in charge of doing it. And I mean, either he goes to the farm and does his thing, or he's like doing a design for a flyer. So for me, or for the Feria de Productores, we adopted like the first model, the private. It was like it was a self project, let's say, because I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to make a living, and I didn't want to make an 8 to 5 p.m. job. I didn't want that. So I was looking to get my time efficient for others. So it's a private market. We do it in a private spot. And can we go to the next? So Feria de Productores is a farmers market located in Guadalajara. It is a personal initiative, not run by an NGO or a government institution. Therefore, it was seen as a personal entrepreneurship project. We're not a charitable foundation. We are a market, and as such, we're looking for profit and a self-employment alternative. I mean, I see plenty of people who are like against making money because it's supposed to be like organic, and it's supposed to be friendly, and it's supposed to be community, and it's supposed to be plenty of things. But many people do not see market as a capitalistic center, or like a spot where you trade, you exchange money. So usually like managers or volunteers are just like, I mean, it's kind of hard to say, but it could be like they're exploited, because I mean, they're giving for free. Vendors are getting money. Not all of them. You gotta do things to have everybody making money. But it's a job, you go there looking for money. Everybody goes there except for managers who are usually volunteers or whatever. So we wanted to change that. And it's a job, so I wanted to get my payment for that. So we had to organize things to get this payment, because I've seen some studies where comparison, you know, like where there's a market where you have an assembly organized by the assembly, and then you have private models where there's only one farmer's manager, and usually like the amount of money farmers make is usually higher when there's a person in charge of everything, because they dedicate the whole week for that. So you know, like can we go to the next? So I was for the market at the beginning. I knew that for any business, you gotta be ready to spend like you gotta have the money to get the payment of the rent and basic infrastructure for like 5 or 6 months. So I was looking for the market to grow in order to get this payment for myself. So here we see like you'll see profit. Like if you do an investment, just like at a farm, like you plant a tree and then you'll get the apple like 3 years later. So with the market, it usually tends to be the same. And how do you manage it at the beginning? Because it's kind of hard to get people like at the market and being like every week if they're not making money. So you'll have to see like in the future. I wanted to be a manager at the market, so I wanted to get my money. I wanted to make a living out of it. So right now it's not going to be possible because we've got like 10 vendors and we got to pay rent. But we have to look or like look forward. So any business needs time to get its initial investment back and gain profit. The more farmers, the more the revenue. Farmers stay when they get a good service, make profit, and see growth. And how big can you grow? Will the space be enough to meet your financial needs? So it can vary. Like this thing can vary, like depending on the market being organized at a public space or in a private space. We found a spot that was kind of abandoned, so we got a really cheap rent that we have done improvements in the place, and the owners of the space have given us like this flat rate on the payment of the rent. So it's been cheap. They haven't increased the rent price like too much from 1 year to another, because they have seen like improvements in the place. So if you're doing the market like in a private spot, think about it. Like it's gonna take time to get like some extra money. If you have like a space only for 10 vendors, you'll not be able to grow. So if you're like organizing a community, try to look forward, to think ahead, and think about a space where you will be able to grow and you will be able to meet your financial needs. So can we go to the next? And here I think it's important, like somebody told me once, that our clients are not like customers that go and buy. Like if you're organizing a market, your client is the farmer or the vendor, not like like the customers that people go and buy. They're not your customers. They're like the farmers' customers, but your clients are like the farmers themselves. So you gotta give them a good service so they can stay. What does this mean? Maybe they're not like making enough money at the beginning, but if they get a good service, they will stay. How do we do this? Maybe we can go to the next. Here we have like a happy farmer, happy manager. So the economical sustainability of the market depends on the economical sustainability of each vendor. So at the beginning, you gotta promote a common mindset, because at the beginning of the market, if you have like 10 vendors, it's gonna be hard for them to be there like every week, because maybe they're not making enough sales. But you gotta tell them that you're planting a seed. So that at the beginning of the market, I think that's very important to set a common mindset, like you're building something. So you're planting a seed and you'll see benefits later on. Because if you don't have that mindset, people, like after 3 days of market, if they're not making enough sales, they'll leave and they won't even say like goodbye, some of them. So as part, like while you're growing, you gotta like keep doing this advertisement like around the market, because maybe you get like 3 customers at the beginning, maybe later 10, but farmers gotta see an increase in clients over time. So it's more than anything at the beginning when they get desperate, and the manager gets desperate as well. So you gotta look relaxed, because if you look too scared because you're not getting clients, you will transmit that to the farmers or the vendors. So you gotta keep relaxed and keep things doing, doing things. So I think it's also important to be loyal to your vendors, because maybe some of them are at the beginning, they're not making enough sales. Maybe there's this baker who goes to the market and at the beginning he's not selling enough. So you gotta be loyal to them. You cannot get another baker. Like if the market's too small, like you've got like 15, you won't have 2 bakers at the same time. Maybe once you're like a big market, then you can include another baker or 3 more, depending on the kinds of bakers there are. But you gotta, like, if he's been there for 5 months waiting for his investment to get money back, to get a profit, like you gotta be loyal to them. You cannot get another baker before he makes enough money. You gotta be strict but understanding. You gotta be friendly with them, but tell them, there are rules. Give constant feedback as a manager and as a consumer. Maybe a farmer or a vendor is just showing up with just one product, and then as a manager, you gotta talk to them, like you gotta give them feedback to make their stalls look more like eye-catching. We've got some vendors that just show up with their tortillas or whatever, and they're just like a flat stand. Maybe they have like grumpy attitude or something. They're not talking too much. So as part of the manager, you gotta like push them to sell more. And how do you do that? Like telling them to change their attitude, because sometimes they're not selling because of their attitude. You gotta tell them to be there on time, because sometimes like the highest crowd like goes to the market in right in the morning. So like when we open, we see a lot of people coming in. So some farmers just show up half an hour later, and well, they're losing part of that sale. Give support when needed. Sometimes they have questions, and sometimes they have like problems with production. So you as a manager have to like help them out and listen to their concerns and act accordingly. So you have some vendors at the market who are not like I mean, you've got like maybe we can go to the next to explain this one. Yeah, because we have different kinds of farmers, and you gotta make it like economically sustainable for everybody. So we've got like these farmers selling chayotes and calabacitas and broccoli and spinach, and then we've got like these ladies selling makeup. One chayote costs like 5 pesos, and then one piece of makeup costs like 200 pesos. So they've got like different needs. Maybe people will go to the market looking for chayotes and broccoli, and they will buy makeup just like as an extra, but she will make more money, and she will be in a position to like you gotta set the map of the market in order to have like the people who sell less, like maybe you'll bring them to the front of the market where everybody sees them. Maybe if everybody goes, like just as a supermarket, you had to organize the map of the market, so everybody like for example, veggies and fruits, they're all the way like at the back of the supermarket usually, so you can see the whole thing. So usually we put like vendors who do not have like a basic products like at the entrance, and then you'll have like some other like milk and cheese and eggs and like basic stuff in another part of the market, but you gotta see the whole thing. Those things, like setting the map of the market, will help the people who sell like products that are not basic. They will be seen more. They will be able to sell more as well. And our market gives special prices to projects located in rural areas through a transportation discount and to organic certified vendors. This allowed the market to set a standard fee that allows the market to run while giving access to farmers in conditions of vulnerability. So usually we know the farmers market is basically farmers. So they get they're our stars. They're our main clients for us as the management. So, but also usually they
Not
make.
yet. Sorry.
Yeah, you can go to the next.
Okay.
Usually they get like it's more costly for them to go to the market because usually they're in rural areas. As I told you before, for a bunch of broccoli or something, they'll charge like almost nothing. So they gotta sell more in order to like to make their profit. While a person who sells purses or handcrafts or something like maybe more expensive that doesn't go bad, like if it's not sold, they usually make more money. So here at the market, we try to organize like different prices and different options, so people can choose like whatever is according to their product, and it's more like easily for them to afford the fee.
Mhm.
So here we have like a small stand, we have a regular stand, and we have like a large stand. And each kind of like size has got a different price. You've got like 900 pesos, 1,100, and 1,350 stalls. And there we've got like some vendors who show up like every other week, not every week, just every other week. So they've got like a different fee. And this is a monthly fee, because also I thought like for our financial stability, it was important not to charge by day, because usually you've got like farmers who maybe we're on weekends, and usually farmers like have like family things to do, maybe a party, maybe a wedding, maybe whatever. So sometimes they say, oh, I'm not showing up, or this time it's not going to be possible, and then you're missing that fee. So we decided to change monthly. So like if you want to go to a wedding one every month, like it's not our problem, but we're charging for your space. We're keeping your space. Next. And then we have like besides the farmer fee or the vendor fee, we've got like other sources of income. We've got fines. For example, if they show up late, if they don't show up and they don't tell us beforehand. We've got like special events. I think those are like really important when you're like growing the market and you don't have like enough customers or enough vendors. Special events make people come to the market, and they show that you work like at the beginning of the market. I think that's the most important part, because maybe later you can like get money from other sources, but at the beginning you gotta invest, and you gotta have vendors see that you are making an effort to bring customers. So special events are good for that. Also, we get some workshops, and they do give us some money from time to time. Also, we have like a storage room where vendors can put their stuff, like if they don't have to, like if they don't want to be carrying stuff every week. So we charge for that. Like if you want a storage a spot, you'll be charged. Then we have like some agritourism with schools more than anything, and we charge them for taking them to farms and having all this tourist activity. Also, you can have like a market stall. Like if you're organizing a market, you can have a market stall for the market, and that's another source of income. You can sell shirts, you can sell hats. I've seen some markets that where the coffee is sold by the market coordination. So everybody needs a coffee and everything. So maybe that could be a source of income for your market as well. Also, we have like ads on social media. Maybe a vendor wants to be shown. Everybody will want to be part of that, but you can charge for that. Like if you want to show up on our Instagram account and be tagged, we can. We have some fees for that. And also, well, as everybody knows, like foundations, sponsor, government subsidies, crowdfunding, or private donations. But our basic source of income are like vendor fees. The next.
I'm just checking the time, Victor.
I'm
I think we're
almost
almost
done.
at the end, yeah?
I'm almost done. And
Okay.
then clients will come back when they have a fulfilling shopper experience. So I would say, like, if you want to organize a market, then have at least 10 or 15 vendors, because if you're less than that, there's a lot of effort that's got to be done to bring people to the market. So if they don't see like a fulfilling experience, and if they can find the eggs, but they will have to the supermarket to get tomatoes or cheese, it's not that fulfilling. So try to get your basic basic staples on the market, so you can bring people, and friendliness, and saying hello, good morning, like smiling to people. Those are things that will make them come back. And then I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Their social
Victor,
media.
thank you so much. And Manuel is sharing your social media and contact info in the chat right now. Wow. So now you can see why I chose these 3 countries as 3 different viable fiscal models: nonprofit, not-for-profit, or NGO, social enterprise, somewhere between the nonprofit and for-profit, and then for-profit. So I hope this was a good showcase of different models. And also, I want to point out that the vendor's mindset, you know, whether they're part of a nonprofit or business, social enterprise, is different. So there are different business acumen as a manager who will, you know, run the market for different fiscal model. I think that I heard the key ingredients of a successful financially sustainable market from Victor's market as well. And I will also say, I also heard key qualification, if you will, of a farmer's market manager. Passion, that's number 1, always sense of purpose. And number 2 is ingenuity. So like, you know, creativity, innovation. So many things are changing all the time, and you are balancing many risks. And that's the ingenuity that, you know, the market manager deals with. And then business acumen, whether it's for profit or nonprofit, there's a business acumen. And then it's really, again, about building relationships and building trust with your vendors and food citizens and your community. And some of these are absolutely something that the coalition, World Farmers Market Coalition, would try to help you develop, you know, through you, the members, and your organizations. I think the answers were there for the questions that have been asked. Is there any unanswered questions that I'm not seeing? Think there's a question for Victor at the end from Xian about if people come specifically to see certain vendors, and I'm gonna guess that's probably true. Yeah, Victor?
Again, I don't see that question.
It already rolled. There's a question by Xian. I think the farmers market, there are always vendors who come to see specific vendors. And she had a question about that. Maybe you can scroll up while I'm talking. I think that we can probably run another studio on another kind of sustainability, which is human sustainability. There's their financial and just as important, human sustainability. So if that's a good idea, maybe we'll organize one around that. Any other questions? I will stop talking for now. Yes, Dan. Dan can you introduce yourself?
Dan from Detroit. Everybody mentioned that vendor fees are their most important source of revenue. Would it be possible to get like a general percentage range of total revenue for each case study? I think that might be helpful.
Let's go with Korea, Poland, and then Mexico in that order.
Percentage. We get 15% of the sales in general.
15% of the general sales, and then it's on honor system. Yeah. Yeah. And then Poland?
I'm just in the process of consulting Ella on private chat, so let's move to Mexico.
Okay, I will try to say it in English. I think 90%.
90.
90
Comes from
90.
farmers.
Yes, I think so.
90% of their. Oh wow, that's really high.
I think there has been a misunderstanding
of the question.
Yeah, it's 90% of their like income is generated or like by
That's how
the
I
fee.
understood.
No,
Oh,
what
no.
fee do you ask the mom? Sorry.
What percent do the vendors pay for their fee? What percent of their income?
They don't, we have a
sale.
flat fee
It's a
and we
flat
don't know
fee.
how much they sell. So it's basically the fee that I said between 25 and 150 euro, but what's the percentage? We don't know. And
So that flat fee was calculated based on like, your assumption was that fee was maybe X% of their, total sales or something? No?
to be completely honest, we
Yeah.
didn't, it was more like a trial and error basis. So the staple foods like fruit, veg, unprocessed, the lowest fee, and then the more expensive the product, then the higher the fee. And also depends on the size and the location. So it's a little bit complex, and with time, some people wanted to move to a different pay band because they thought, okay, and we agreed, sometimes not. So it kind of evolved along the way, but what's the percentage? I don't know.
Hey, Robin, I don't think I maybe asked the question the right way. I was interested in the percentage of the cost of putting on the market itself. I realized that Korea is the only one that had a percentage approach to vendor fees, but of the total, what other sources of revenue versus...
are you asking, so are you asking total percent of income?
Right.
Coming from the vendor fee. Okay. What percent of your income total income comes from vendor fee?
So that's what I understood. So it was 90%.
Okay, 90%. 90%.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good answer. Xian, do you have any rough number?
We
Over 65%.
yeah. 2/3 of our incomes is from
2/3 of your income, so 65%-ish. Okay. And Victor?
Well, I would say that like 100%, it's just like we get it through vendor fees and fines And whenever we have like special needs for materials or whatever, like we get it from the other stuff, you know, like we organize special events, and the money we get for that, we use it like for specific stuff at the market. But the logistics and everything, it's like 100% run by vendor fees and fines.
Okay. I think that's also that comes from the difference between the fiscal model, business, nonprofit, and social enterprise. Excellent. We are approaching the end time. This is our last, well, I don't want to say like, it is the last studio before the end of the summer. And we will see you in a couple months. Carmelo's here. Did you have a couple things to say, Carmelo?
Thank you, Robin. Yes, it is the last studio before the end of the summertime. But let me say, Robin, and I say this because I fully believe this is one of the most beautiful studios that I have participated. I think that I was present in all of them. Many of them, they were great, but thank you for the great job, Robin, together with all our members, because I learned a lot. And thank you, everyone, for your generosity to share your experience. I think that this studio shows the sense of the World Farmers Market Coalition to create a community, a human community of people that want to share with everybody their experience, their knowledge, how to grow up a farmers market that is another community, a local food community. So thank you very much, Robin, for the excellent job. With Robin, this is an information that I would like to share already with you. With Robin, we decided to invest in our academy to make it better in the future. She's working on that, and she has the support of Richard and of myself to make this academy greater and best in the future. We will meet before the General Assembly for sure. We will share that information on that. Thank you to the job that all the constituency are doing for making this General Assembly the best that we have never done before. And thank you to everybody for the insight that we are receiving and for the ideas. I would like to close saying that with Richard, we have participated to the Food System Summit in Ethiopia, and it was a great honor for me, and I think that I can say also for Richard, to represent all of you, to bring the voice of the farmers market at the center of the food of the global food system. And we are showing to all the people of the world that we not just open a tent, we do a revolutionary act with the opening of a tent, because we are working to change the global food system. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Robin, for this excellent job. It was great. I learned a lot. I had the need to share with you this sentiment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carmelo. I will never take the credit away from those who presented. I set the structure, I asked questions, but you did all the work. And that's the beauty of our coalition. You make this a wonderful organization. So thank you. Thank you so much. Today's guests, I would love to talk more about what you shared, probably maybe at the GA, and we will create a session just on the other kind of sustainability, human sustainability and burnout. If anybody here wants to talk about it, contact me, an academy@worldfmc.org. And I do have an ask. Please share about World Farmers Markets Coalition on Instagram, LinkedIn, any social media you might be on, and tell your colleagues and friends about the studio. Bring them here, and that is your homework, okay?
Thank you to the translators, Robin.
Oh,
They
yes, of
make
course.
possible that everybody could understand the studios. Thank you very much.
We cannot do it without you, translators, Carmen and team. Thank you. We wish you a wonderful, cool rest of the summer. Any questions, comments, anything you want to talk about the coalition, please contact us. We are always here for you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you again for the guests. We will see you later.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you all.